Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Backfire. And the reason why something could backfire right now is because of the potent, harsh aspects to today's full moon in Aries. So the full moon is at 27 degrees of Aries, and Aries indicates new starts or new beginnings. Aries is the sign of the pioneer, and it's the sign of somebody that has a lot of enthusiasm about something and sort of wants to get it underway. It's not a finishing sign, but people who are strong in the sign of Aries are certainly admired for the way that they have the sort of the courage to just push forward, which is fueled by a lot of energy that they've got, because Aries is ruled by Mars, a very energetic planet. But today there could be a backfire. And the reason why, or it's coming up, I think that it's going to be what you might call a rolling backfire, meaning that yes, some backfire could happen today, but they could keep coming in different ways. And the reason why, and that's long after the full moon is over, I think they could keep coming, because it's a little bit like dominoes. One thing backfires, then another, then another, then another. And the reason why is today the full moon in Aries at 27 degrees is opposite three very strong planets in Libra, because we know under a full moon the moon opposes the sun. So the sun is at 27 degrees of Libra, but so is Mercury, which is now direct, and Mars is also in Libra. It's Aries' own ruler, but it's opposing the sign it rules. That's not too good. That could be the cause of a backfire due to some sort of backlash that people feel, or anger that comes up in one way or another, or even to a war. Mars rules war. But Mars and the sun are conjuncting each other, so that sort of compounds or doubles their strength. And these three planets are opposing that full moon in Aries, and also Pluto in Capricorn is squaring that full moon in Aries as well. But Pluto is also squaring the three planets in Libra, one of which is Mars. And when Mars and Pluto square or oppose each other, it's not too good for financial matters. And the reason why is that they are the two rulers of Scorpio. What does Scorpio rule? Taxes. And it rules money coming in from any other source. So it rules loans and debt and credit, and it rules grants and inheritance and insurance, and any kind of payments coming in from any other source. But because the rulers of that sign are in harsh aspect, and they are caught up among the five planets in this harsh T-square with the full moon and the sun, the lights, it simply means that there's going to be a backfire somewhere. And it could be just coming right up. And so we might think of something that could be an explosive situation. And it's just that the pressure could have been building and building and building, and it could explode now. Where could this be happening? It could be happening anywhere where people finally have to face the grim truth about something. And the reason why it's the grim truth is because these planets are in such harsh aspect to each other. So it could be a country that's having financial difficulties. It could be a large conglomerate, maybe a really worldwide company that's having financial problems. It could be a government agency, but a real big one that it doesn't have the income that would justify whatever kind of budget they want to spend. And so there could be more debt than income, and that could create some sort of a backfire too to their intentions. So the grim truth is there are plenty of instances throughout the world where there can be financial pressure right now. And it may not get better, it might get worse, because Mars will leave Libra and go into Scorpio, which is the sign it rules. Then it won't be squaring Pluto, it'll be sextiling Pluto, its other ruler. I mean, it's going to be really strong. And it will be opposing Uranus in Taurus, and it will be squaring Saturn in Aquarius, which is the sign of the future. And those are the three malefic planets. And so they will be in a harsh T-cross, just the way the planets in Aries, Libra, and Capricorn are in a harsh T-cross today. And so I don't think that financial conditions are necessarily going to get better. And that is because, you know, they say that this could even happen to somebody who's very wealthy and still have something backfire on them. Because they say if you're a millionaire, you know, if you make 1 million, but you spend 2, you're broke. Because your debts exceed your income. And that can be happening not just to wealthy people, but also to organizations with big budgets, to whole countries, or to big groups, maybe international groups. So there isn't enough money around for somebody to follow a long-cherished plan. And it's that long-cherished plan that looks like it's going to backfire. And it may be backfiring due not just to financial problems, but legal problems. And the reason why is that the strength, even though it's a full moon in Aries today, the strength is really in Libra. Because the Sun and Mercury and Mars are all in Libra. Well, the sign of Libra is actually being trined and supported beautifully by 2 other planets in Aquarius, Jupiter and Saturn. It's got a lot of good backup. And so Libra rules partnerships, and it rules the law. And there can be some people with long cherished plans, you know, something that a plan that they have worked on for years that they thought was just really going to make it. And those are the people that might be experiencing a backfire now. But it could be due to legal problems. Mars is in Libra, it's not happy there. Or it can be some violation of contract terms that could occur. Or it could just simply be that behind the scenes, the people with a very devoted plan might have been tweaking things a little bit, maybe even illegally, and that is why their plan backfires. So there could be a lot of reasons why, but I think particularly financial, why a plan backfires now. And it's going to disappoint people, but there could be some pretty good reasons for something to backfire now. And that is why the point we want to make today is that you really should try very hard to be very careful in word and deed. You know, watch what you say, watch what you do. And when you get your emotions stirred up or you get angry, you know, think twice before you respond to that. I mean, anger is energy. You could take your anger energy and do something constructive with it. Generally, that means fixing some sort of problem that requires a lot of physical effort so you can work out that anger. That works. I do it in my garden all the time. I go after those weeds, particularly when I'm mad about something. I take it out on them. But anyway, the point is that you've got to be able to handle yourself very carefully right now. Because there are conditions, I think, that would be beyond most of our control. You know, maybe you and I are not going to have something backfire, but I would say this is happening at a bigger level, or it's happening with wealthier people. Because Even if you're wealthy and you exceed your income so that you have more debt than wealth, you're broke. And that could end a lot of plans. And so people are in for an explosive situation or a shocking surprise. And all I'm saying is, this would be a good time, if you don't think that's you, to stand on the sidelines and just be an observer, but don't say or do anything that is reactionary right now. Because, that would not be good. People could get hurt. And already, the people that have nurtured a plan of their own for a long time are actually going to give it, even if it looks like it's backfiring, they're going to give it one big push, one last big push. Why is that? Because the 3 planets in Libra, which is an air sign, are being tried by those other 2 planets in Aquarius, another air sign, and so they're going to push the rhetoric. They're going to push the same old tired words they've been saying for a long time to get people to do something. They're just going to push that same plan again and again and again. And the reason why they won't succeed is because I think that it's already backfired in one way or another. Certainly financially, because there could be a financial shortfall that is not a pretty picture for them. And that's the way it goes. But also it could just be that people don't want to start things that will inflict pain on their budgets right now. Remember, there's a financial reason or a financial shortfall around that precipitates the backfire. And the reason why is, just go to the grocery store. You've got the reason. The costs are so high now. Inflation is just going through the roof. Nobody's doing anything about it, except we have to pay for it. Wouldn't you get mad at that after a while? Because maybe the salaries aren't going up quite as fast as the prices are. So who gets stuck? We do. And, enough people could be a little upset about that, with the holidays coming and everything, that they may react in a way that assures a plan backfires now. But you can't feel too sorry for anybody about that. Either they may have done something illegal and they get caught, or they're just spending too much money that they don't have, and so the debt just piles up, and, enough is enough. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. Well, Aries, today you have a huge full moon in your sign at 27 degrees. So because it's at 27 degrees, it's not going to be in your sign later on tomorrow. It's just going to whiz on through now because it's almost at the end of the sign. But it is meeting stiff resistance today, Aries. So I would say, no, you're really not going to get something that you have your little heart set on. Now, your sign is backed up. And so Venus in Sagittarius is trining that full moon in your sign today. That means that you can be very popular with people who might live far away from you, or even people who are in a foreign country, or that have international ties with you. You could be very popular with them. That would be great. I mean, you should, or if you're planning a long distance trip and you're thinking of going to another country over the Christmas holidays, I urge you to do that, Aries. That would be a good thing for you to do, and it would sort of get your mind off your troubles, because troubles are certainly on your doorstep. And I'm not saying you caused any of them, Aries, but if you did, you're gonna feel the pain because something will backfire. But if you didn't, then that's why you need that trip over the holidays, just to get away from the tension and the explosive situations that you may find yourself in, either now or coming right up. Because the Sun, Mercury, and Mars, your own ruler, are opposing the full moon in your sign today, causing indecision and confusion. And so that's not too good. And that means that either you're not sure about something or other people are not sure about you. So there's a little lack of support. And then Pluto in Capricorn is also squaring that full moon in your sign. But Pluto is direct and it is backed up. It's being trine by Uranus and Taurus. And so people pretty high up in management, or if you are high up in management, you could be wanting to consolidate your power. But I would say no matter how hard you try to do that right now, it won't work. It will backfire. That Pluto is squaring not only the moon in your sign, but all 3 planets in Libra. And behind the fact that some people can have very high bills and high debts. In other words, the millionaire that has $1 million but spends 2, they're broke. And, you know, they've got to cut their lifestyle down a little bit to fit their budget. But you could be dealing with people that are a little bit stressed out, either because of legal problems or financial problems. And so I don't think there's much you can do about it, Aries. And you too could have a few of those problems. And that's why, you know, matters at a distance would be far more favorable for you than whatever situation you're in right now, because the situation itself could become very explosive. And so that's why I'm urging everybody, you know, keep calm, be very thoughtful in word and deed, and stay in control. But if I were you, Aries, I think you ought to try to get away from that, from the pressure and tension in your life right now, if you can. And Venus is a wonderful planet, and it's trining your sun. So you sort of need to go somewhere else right now and just relax a little bit and collect yourself and your thoughts if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, with Pluto in Capricorn trining your sun and that full moon in Aries today right behind your sun sign, Taurus, there's a lot of light in the background of your life. And what is it on? It's on something new that you want to do. Or it can be that the financial climate has changed in a way that makes you realize you have to sort of start something else or start something new. And you know, I think that as long as you're real careful with the bookwork, with the figures, and you take everything into account, if you're investing or if you're buying something, and by everything I mean the cost of maintaining whatever you buy, and also the taxes that are associated with it. You know, you have to say, okay, this is how much it's costing me now, but how much is it going to keep costing me down the road? And add all those things up. If you still like what you see, which you may, Taurus, then you may be able to start something new that is a good investment. You may even decide at this time in your life that you want to start your own company. And because Capricorn rules companies. And Pluto is now direct and trining your sun. And so you may think, well, I either want to start my own company or I want to partner with somebody else who's a bigger organization than me, and maybe I can piggyback with them for a while until I learn the ropes and then start my own company and branch off that way. Maybe you could do that, Taurus. So everybody, the only people that are having financial problems now are who you might call the big spenders. But ordinary people who are just going to the grocery store and they're living on the same budget and the same salary right now, and the prices are just going through the roof, what are they supposed to do? Just not eat? Well, no. But it's a problem. Having a financial shortfall is a problem. I don't necessarily think it's your problem, Taurus. But you still have to be very careful in thought and deed right now, and make sure that you are looking sort of long term at how your plans might turn out and how much they might cost you in the long run. If you can figure all that out, you just might get a green light. You just might decide, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. And there may not be much stopping you as long as you sort of stay in control, particularly of your budget. This is not a time when people should be spending money. A lot of people have spent too much money and they have debt. And debt will sink you. And so that's the backfire, is that even if you were a whole country and you were trying to nurture a long-cherished plan, if the economy changes for one reason or another and you have a financial shortfall, how are you going to afford the plan? Because debt will sink you. And that's not the way for anybody to go. And so I don't think that pertains to you, Taurus, but still, you need to be aware that the financial conditions from the top down, from the richest country in the world to the people like you and me that just go to the grocery store and can't believe what the prices are these days. We all have got to make some sort of intelligent adjustment to a financial shortfall in order to get through the winter. And that's why I think a big plan is going to backfire. It must be a big, expensive plan because it's going to backfire. And, you know, there's all kinds of ways things can backfire now. And I don't think you want to be a part of that, Taurus, so just be real careful with your money if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, there are a lot of planets that are helping you out, Gemini. You're leading sort of a charmed life right now. And the reason why is that the full moon in Aries today is sextiling your sun, so that means there can be opportunities around for you to make some sort of new beginning if it's affordable, you know, not anything where you need to raise your debt, but if you can pay for something, there could be a new beginning around that might look rather enticing right now for you, Gemini. And then the sun, Mars, and Mercury, your own ruler, are in Libra, and they are trining your sun, which is wonderful. And so are Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. You've got the lights favoring you, the sun and the moon. You've got an awful lot of planets in the other air signs backing you up right now, Gemini. You have to give some very serious thought to the direction that you want to take in 2022, because you just have a green light. And you have to decide what you can afford. That's the number one thing everybody has to decide right now. What can I afford? And you have to live within a budget, and you have to ask yourself not only what can you afford financially, but time-wise. You know, how much time do you have to devote to something? Because if you've got a green light, what does that mean? Does that mean 40 hours a week that you spend on something new? Oh, well, maybe you only have 10 hours a week or 8 hours. Maybe you only have 1 day a week. That's 8 hours. So you need to carefully plan what you're going to do, because it looks to me like you have got a green light and you can do it. Not only that, Gemini, but you sort of know what I'm talking about. You know there's something that you have a lot of confidence in yourself, that you know how to do. And this is the time to just take that next step and move forward and do it. Now, your sign rules a type of work that you may not have considered, but even if you don't consider the job, you're going to need this person around. You're going to need somebody who knows how to do this job. And it's that Gemini rules agents. They rule agents or middlemen. People who connect other people to make deals. Excuse me. And so maybe you're at a point in the development of your talent where you need an agent. You need somebody to promote you. Well, how much will that cost? You need to find out, Gemini. Because you definitely have talent. You definitely have the backup right now. I think you need to go for something. But you have to as carefully plan your time as you do your budget. Because they've both got to work in tandem in order for you to succeed, which I think you can. So I would just cut out a whole lot of other busy things that you might be doing, Gemini, and sit down and figure out what it is that is your heart's desire and go for it. But with careful planning, because I think you can succeed at that. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when, once again, you know, for average people that are just going to the grocery store and making enough money to feed their families and are thinking that Christmas is coming, you know, they're not the ones that are going to be the people that do the backfire unless they get pushed too hard. Because, I mean, there's only so much money, and there is enough debt around everywhere in the world right now that it could sink a lot of people, a lot of countries. And then the question is, Cancer, could war be far behind? Because generally, you know, the have-nots always want what the haves possess. And so, Cancer, this is a good time for you to sit on the sidelines. The reason why is that full moon in Aries today is squaring your sun, and the moon is your own ruler, but first of all, it's not happy in a sign ruled by Mars. Mars rules Aries. So you may be involved in some sort of new beginning. It might not be your beginning, although it might be, but it's with somebody else who has what you might call a bit of a temper, or they can be a little bit hot-headed, or they want to have their own way. And that would not be going over very well with you, Cancer. And then there could be a legal matter or a partnership issue on your mind that you're not too happy with either, since the Sun, Mercury, and Mars in Libra are squaring your Sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is opposing your Sun. Yours is a cardinal sign. There's 4 of them. And there's 5 planets in the other 3 signs, all harshly aspecting your Sun at the moment, Cancer. So what can you do? That's why I'm saying, I think you need to sit on the sidelines. You need to withdraw. You need your own peace of mind. And it doesn't seem to me that you are working with people that are going to give you that right now. Or else you're associated with too many conditions that are changing, either due to a financial shortfall or a fond dream or plan of a group or of somebody that is backfiring due perhaps to a budget that won't succeed right now, because no matter how wealthy they are or a country is or a group is, there's too much debt. And when the debt exceeds the income, you're broke. And I'm not saying you, Cancer. I'm just saying there are people around you that are experiencing that right now. And I think you ought to sort of go home and close the door and catch up on little jobs at home if you have to. Mind your own business. Just step away. There are explosive situations that can erupt due to a plan that backfires or due to a financial shortfall. And you absolutely do not want to be involved with that if you can help it, Cancer, because I don't think you'd win anything if you got involved. You know, the aspects are too harsh to your sun sign. Now, the good news is that's going to change in November and the first part of December. As soon as Mars goes in, and it's in late Libra now, and it's going to go into Scorpio, and it will begin to trine your Sun, And Neptune in Pisces already trines your sun. So you actually are probably a person, Cancer rules thrift. Cancer rules recycling. Cancers can always, no matter what is around their home, you know, they never throw anything out because they're always thinking it can be used for something else. It can be recycled. And they're generally right about that. They say about a Cancer that a Cancer always has enough for the day and the way. That if a stranger comes to their house, they can always find a little more food in their cupboard to feed the person that shows up. So Cancers always have enough for the day and the way. So that doesn't have to be fancy. And maybe you're the best bargain shopper in the world when you go to the grocery store. That's great. So you don't have to participate in all of the explosive situations around you. It would be a very good time for you to be especially careful in word and deed. And stay out of something, Cancer, because you're going to be highlighted in November and the middle of December. So this is a really good time for you to do small things at home that you better get done now because you're going to be pretty busy in November, but in a very favorable way. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, the full moon right now, today, in Aries, is trining your sun. And so is Venus in Sagittarius. They're both trining your sun, Leo. Ooh, isn't that nice? It simply means, Leo, that you can have some pretty nice connections around. That one, there can be somebody that wants to start something new. And they may want to start it with you, Leo. And that's because the moon in Aries, which rules new beginnings, is trining your sun. It could be a woman and wants to start something new with you. Well, that's nice. You know, I'd take them up on that if I were you, Leo. And then Venus in Sagittarius is trining your sun, which means that if you're in any kind of tense situation due to a financial shortfall, or perhaps due to having high bills and not enough money to cover them, then you might want to take a vacation, just like Aries, because Sagittarius rules long-distance travel and people from foreign countries. Maybe somebody's coming to see you instead. That would be nice, particularly if they were from a foreign country. You would be stimulated by visiting with people from other cultures. You'd probably like that, Leo. Or it can simply be that you want to get ready on some long-cherished plan of yours that you really have been thinking about for years. Absolutely years. And you may decide, oh, this is a time when I'm going to go forward. Well, you know, Leos like to have a team around. It rules sports. It rules having a group around. They like to be the leader of the group, but still they like to have company. And Leo, this isn't a time when you're going to get everybody together and have them all support you. Some people can support you, but not everyone. And the reason why is that same full moon in Aries that is trining your sun is getting hammered by the planets in Libra, which could indicate a serious legal problem or partnership issue or contract problem that means that something's going to backfire pretty big. And people, especially like yourself, that may have some long-term plan that you want to get underway now, I would suggest that you be real careful in word and deed, just like everybody else, but that you not expect too much right now, and that you adjust your timetable. And that partly is because the holidays are coming up, and you know, and also we get bad weather sometimes, and there's enough unknowns that as we go into the holidays that you may decide to work a little bit more by yourself and get things a little bit better organized so that you can start something after the first of the year. That might be better timing for you. So if you think that something's just going to smoothly go forward right now that involves a long cherished plan of yours, I would say you're kidding yourself, and look for the backfire, because it'll be there. Maybe it won't happen directly to you, but it could happen to somebody that you really need in your life as you are starting something new, or it could happen to anybody's finances right now. And once again, this is not a time when people should be spending money. Leo, your sign rules extravagance. You're very generous. But you got to put a little lid on that for a while, particularly now, because there's way too much debt and not enough income to cover it for a lot of people. And it might even be you. So you got to get these little things straightened out first. So give yourself a little extra time. Maybe try something new after the first of the year. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. This is a time when you can be thinking only about things that are very, very practical. And as the year begins to draw to an end now, we're heading into fall and into the holidays, you can be sort of winding up some of your plans, and you could be anticipating what your taxes will be for next year, because your sign does rule accounting. But on the other hand, one of the things that you may be quietly thinking about is your investments. So it's not really quite your job or anything like that. I think that you can be not necessarily worried, but very conscious of what your investments are and of what the financial picture is throughout the world right now. So in a way, you can be thinking and even a little bit worried about things that you have no control over, Virgo, except you have control over your own investments and the way the way you like to run things. You do have control over that. And I would stop there, Virgo. Pay attention to just your financial situation, not anybody else's. And when it comes to thinking of, gee, there's something backfiring over here, and there's something that's not going to work over there. I mean, you can observe, but don't even waste your time too much on that, because you need to sort of protect and guard what you already have. And you can do that because you're sort of good at doing that consistently all the time. But I'm telling you that there's just not enough money around anymore, and you don't know how the rest of the world's going to react. I just think there's going to be a backfire to somebody's cherished plan because there isn't enough money around. There's a financial shortfall. And my worry is that war could erupt. I hope not, but maybe it could. So just keep your eyes on what's yours, Virgo, and let it be. Just enjoy the safety and security of knowing that you have things pretty secure, and you need to guard that, and that's your job. Guard what you have, and you don't have to worry about anything else. Don't waste your energy worrying about things you can't control. Just work on the ones you can control. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. Well, Libra, you may have been a little stirred up in the last month while Mars has been in your sign. And it's conjuncting the Sun today in your sign, and Mercury is there as well. And they are all being opposed by the full moon in Aries today. And they're being squared by Pluto in Capricorn. Well, because Mars is in your sign and Pluto is squaring it, and they are the rulers of Scorpio, somewhere in your life, Libra, no matter how much money you make or don't make, there can be some sort of a backfire or financial shortfall. And it may or may not be due to you. In other words, if you've been sort of spending a lot of money and your debts are higher than your income, you got a problem. But if it's simply that there's money around that you depend on and there's some hold on that for one reason or another, that's a different kind of a problem. Maybe you can't control that at all. So, you know, you could almost feel as if you're in limbo a little bit, Libra, and you may want to start something new, but you're not too sure what it'll cost. You're not too sure how much time you'll have to devote to it, and you're not sure about the stability of the current costs that you have in your life. In other words, you know, we all still have to get up in the morning and, you know, go to the grocery store or cover our daily costs. But I think you're wanting to start something new. And what you ought to do is you ought to sit down with other people. Believe it or not, you know, talk to other people or go to some expert and get their free advice about questions that you have, because it's a wonderful time for you to do that. And that's because Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius are trining the 3 planets in your sign. So there's 5 planets in air signs right now, and you should really take advantage of that. And air signs are communicative. You know, they're thinking a lot about things. Well, they talk a lot about them too, and they like to connect with people. That's what you need to do, Libra. Is sort of get out of the house, go talk to other people about whatever you've got in mind, make an appointment, try to get a free consultation somewhere, and see what information you can gather. This is a good information gathering time for you, because I think that there's almost some sort of break. You know, I'm calling it a backfire to somebody's long cherished plan. I'm not so sure that it's a backfire that involves you, Libra, but I do think there is some sort of a break coming in your life. Now that break could involve somebody else who wants to go on their own way. Okay, this can be a kid who's graduating and they want to go out and get a different job. I mean, nothing wrong with that. And so there could be somebody that's moving on in your life, Libra. And I think it's going to be fine with you. I don't think that's going to be a big worry. But it'll affect you. But it's not a big worry. And so I think that you just need to communicate and talk to as many people as possible. Reach out and touch right now, Libra, while these 5 planets in air signs are all helping you out. And you should do that immediately. Don't wait till after the first of the year. Do it now, because Jupiter won't even be in Aquarius after December 28th. It leaves. So make your time count. Okay. What does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. This is a time when I think that you are getting a little bit fed up with some things. And Scorpios are very disciplined. They can be pretty mad about something and no one would know it. I mean, they can sort of keep a lid on their anger when they have to. And so, Scorpio, you have 3 planets right behind your sun sign. The Sun, Mars, which are conjuncting each other today, and Mercury are in Libra right behind your sun sign. And they are part of this very harsh T-cross among planets, 5 planets in cardinal signs. So the 3 planets in Libra are being opposed by that full moon in Aries today, and they're all being squared by Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto is your own ruler, one of them. And Mars is the other one. You know, Scorpio, you could be in great shape, but your rulers aren't. Mars and Pluto are squaring each other. Now, this is not going to last. Mars is in the late 20 degrees of Libra. It's zooming on. It's going to come into your sign. Then it's a different story, just the way it's going to be for Cancer and for Pisces. Because Mars rules Scorpio. So we've had 3 planets in fixed signs all squaring and opposing each other before. We had that this summer. We had it in June and July. But we didn't have a planet in your sign. You know, it was in Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo. Well, now Mars has come into your sign, or it will, and it is going to strengthen you a whole bunch, Scorpio. And you know, I'm pretty sure people are going to realize they better not argue with you while Mars is in your sign. They would lose big time, big time. Scorpios are sort of, if Scorpios are really mad about something, they usually don't display their anger. They play a waiting game. They may decide, even if it takes years, that they will, they'll even the score. And they'll do it. It has to be a pretty good reason to do it, but they'll do it. And so, Scorpio, you're coming into a period of strength, but you're not there yet. And when that strength occurs, it will be because your rulers are not doing what they're doing now, which is squaring each other, creating financial shortfalls and debt, high debt. They instead, one will be in Scorpio and the other one, Pluto, will be in Capricorn, sextiling each other. So, you know, I'm not saying you're going to be on easy street in November and December, but it's going to be pretty close to that, Scorpio. You're not going to have to worry about too much. But on the other hand, you could have a few things to worry about right now, because this is an explosive full moon that is going to create an explosive situation that means a long cherished plan of somebody's, either a country or a government organization or just maybe wealthy people, a group of them, that plan is going to backfire. And yet they're just going to ignore that, and they are going to pour on the rhetoric, the same rhetoric they've always been pouring on. And they're just going to keep saying the same thing and pressing their point, thinking, well, one more push, one more time will do it. And this time they're really wrong. It's not going to do it. It's going to backfire. So if I were you, Scorpio, I'd stay out of the whole mess if you can. And you probably can stay out of it all as long as you are not having any legal problems or financial problems. But remember, those 3 planets in Libra are right behind your sun right now. Well, there could be legal problems around. And hopefully it's the other person's, not yours. And so remember, be thoughtful in word and deed. And let the rest go. You're coming into a tremendous period of strength. Save yourself for that, Scorpio. And just get a few things straightened out all on your own, without interacting with too many people. You'd be surprised how many people are on the edge of desperation because their debt is higher than their income. And that's in any segment of society. So stay out of it, Scorpio, and wait. Yours is the sign of patience. You can wait. You don't have too much longer to wait. Mars is coming into your sign very soon. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius. Venus is in your sign. You could be in a good mood. You also could be very popular, and you could be planning to travel over the holidays, or else you could be inviting people from a long distance to come and see you. Maybe you're going to be the host or hostess this holiday season. You're going to love it, Sagittarius. That will be just great for you. But on the other hand, if you're thinking of starting something new and you've been sort of thinking about it for a long time, then you may have to travel to solidify your plans. Maybe the last thing you need is to go and sort of see whatever you're thinking about and sort of get the lay of the land, so to speak. That would be a good idea, Sagittarius. You could do that. Sort of explore. That's fine. Because this full moon in Aries does trine Venus in your sign. And that simply means, since the moon is in Aries, which rules new beginnings, that you could even be sort of fond of somebody at a distance and want to go and visit them or have them come to see you. Somebody nice. And so that would be great. So I think, Sagittarius, you're almost in a little protective cocoon, okay, all by yourself, but it's protected in some way. Maybe you have been very cautious and careful in word and deed, so that you don't have too much to worry about. That could be possible. And so I think you have a little cocoon of protection around you right now, which is great. It could give you peace of mind. And the big plans that might backfire, no matter how hard they're getting pushed, I don't think that you're really going to do anything about that at all, Sagittarius. I don't think it involves you, and I don't think you're even going to waste any time thinking about it. Because the problems that are behind that are causing this explosive situation or something to backfire, the story is a long one. It's been going on for a long time. It's not something that just suddenly occurred. The backfire is suddenly occurring, but not the whole grand plan that someone had. And so, we all have to face the grim truth and reality ourselves. But I think you can do a very good job of that right now, Sagittarius, because you've got some protection around you. And you should say a little prayer of thanks about that. You're sort of lucky right now. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Oh, Capricorn. This is a time when I think that, you really might feel that you're walking on eggshells. Ooh, and you're not too sure if somebody's going to erupt or what's going to change or how the money's going to go, because there are so many financial unknowns or shortfalls around. And some of them can affect you simply because you're associated in one way or another, or dependent in one way or another on different kinds of income. So you can be like an observer that's watching these things that you can't even believe are going on, because that isn't the way the world used to be. It's just the way it is now. And you could be saying to yourself, well, what am I supposed to do about this? And my answer to you is nothing. Don't do anything. If you tried to do anything, it would be wrong. And the reason why is that there are so many planets in cardinal signs, and you're 5 of them, and yours is a cardinal sign. So yes, Pluto is direct in your sun sign right now, and you have a much better appreciation for your own power and your own talent. In other words, I think you have more self-confidence now, and that's good. Capricorns have sort of a long track record. They generally work for a long time. And so you can look back and say, gee, I have accomplished a lot. And you can be happy about that. After all, you earned it. But on the other hand, the full moon in Aries is squaring Pluto in your sign. And so there could be a dominating woman around somewhere that she could even be a little jealous of you just having your own power. It's not like you're doing anything to her. But she could be jealous of you because you are so sure of yourself, or because you have a very sterling track record. You have proof of your worth. And somebody could be a little annoyed by that, and it could be a woman. And on top of that, the Sun, Mars, and Mercury in Libra are all squaring Pluto in your sign. So, you could probably forget that woman because she's got bigger troubles than you, Capricorn. She's got her own problems. So I would ignore her. But this problem from Mars in Libra squaring Pluto in your sign does indicate some sort of financial shortfall somewhere that you can be affected by. So if somebody has this grand plan of what they want to do, and it could be a country or a conglomerate or a government agency, and they've just had this plan for a long time, and they're going to keep pushing the same old rhetoric to get that thing done, and it's not going to work. It's going to backfire. It's like people have heard it before, and the answer is really going to be no. Well, that means there could be a change in the money. Okay, Mars squaring Pluto, a financial shortfall. And you need to hang on to your money, Capricorn. And you need to know where every dollar of it is. Okay, and who's responsible for it. You might have investments, or you might have somebody who's doing your investing for you. Well, you need to go visit them, Capricorn. Make sure they're doing what you want, not what they want. And just make sure you've got everything nailed down right now. You are coming into a period of greater strength. And that will be in November and halfway through December, sort of leading up to your birthday. It's going to be really nice for you because Mars will be in Scorpio, sextiling Pluto in your own sign. You could be a powerhouse, Capricorn. And it's about time. I mean, you are fully capable of doing more if you want to, because you've got the track record and the skill and the administrative skills. This is just a very good time in your life to really develop your potential. And like I said last week, the flower has to bloom. And this is a good time for you to be thinking of, that's the way to head into the holidays. Letting your little flower bloom some way, Capricorn. Or at least work on it. After you make sure all your money is safe. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Aquarius. This is just a great time for you to be talking or communicating or writing or developing something new that sort of gets you out there, Aquarius. And the reason why is your sign rules the future, and it rules things that are ahead of their time, and it rules aviation, rules flight and space, and it rules music and the whole electronics field and computers and the whole telecommunications field. And so there's just a lot of ways that you could enhance your money-making ability right now. In other words, if you wanted to go for a higher paying job and the requirements were some skills that you didn't quite have, you could take some classes or some online tutoring and boost your skills up a little bit and apply. The future is looking very hopeful for you, Aquarius. Congratulations. Because you've had to be pretty patient up till now. But now, both planets in your sign, Jupiter and Saturn, are direct. They are being backed up beautifully by a trine from the planets in Libra, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars in Libra. So you just have a ton of backup. And it's coming from other people, that sort of, they want to work together. So don't be the Lone Ranger right now, Aquarius. Join up with somebody. Even if it's just a temporary class, you will really enjoy it. And by joining up and meeting new people, it will be very stimulating for you. It'll sort of turn you on to the future. And why not? That's what your sign rules. So you need to get out among them. I mean, think of it as visiting people. Okay, if you're interested in something, go visit those people, Aquarius. They'll be happy to see you. Ask the questions that you want, or find out about courses you can enroll in, or just make some sort of connection. Because the planets in Libra, which rule partnership, are also trining your sun. So, you know, you can connect with other people right now, and that can boost your career, or it could boost your finances. And I would take that seriously and do that, Aquarius, because the financial picture is looking a little wobbly, and it's going to look worse in November and the middle of December. And you know, you should be the first one in line to go out and meet new people and make connections, just in case you need those connections pretty soon to better yourself, which you should do. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Pisces. This is a time with so many planets direct right now that there can be sort of a benign wind blowing in your direction, which may sort of gently nudge you along in your future path or toward your future goals, Pisces. That's certainly possible because the planets right behind you, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, are both direct now. So in the background of your life, there's some pretty wonderful people, and they could be a little more ready to help you out right now, Pisces, which is great. They could sort of give you a little bit of a boost, which would be nice. Well, there's an even bigger boost coming. And that is coming as soon as Mars gets into Scorpio, which is coming right up. And it will stay in Scorpio through November and half of December. And okay, it's going to create a lot of tension, particularly financial tension, among the fixed signs. But it's going to really favor you, Pisces, and it's going to favor Cancer and Scorpio. And that is because Mars and Scorpio will then begin to trine Neptune in your own sign. And that may be the boost that you need to sort of get out and get going, Pisces. Because, you know, it's going to be very promising for you, whereas it may not be for a lot of other people in November and December. It's going to be okay for you. And it might be because you're energized a little bit more than usual to go forward on a goal that you should do. And so, you know, in this short period of time, before Mars goes into Scorpio, you should be trying to sort of clear the decks and make sure that you are in a position to move forward in just a couple of weeks, in one way or another, while still maintaining some of your daily activities. But you really need to carve out some spare time that is going to get filled up pretty soon, Pisces, but in a delightful way. So you have a lot to look forward to, but this is a time when you sort of got to get ready for it, if you can. So do not put off until tomorrow what you could solve today, Pisces, because you got to get a few things solved so the decks are cleared and you're ready to roll by November. And that is coming right up. So I wish you the best of luck. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can read our blog and see the show on our website, starborninstitute.org, or you can subscribe and I can send it to you on my YouTube Karen Campbell channel. So either way, I'd be happy to have you see the show and tell your friends about it. Thanks a lot. Bye.